Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000. I'm back. I have an interesting video for you. Today I want to talk about a knife. A very specific knife. I want to talk about the BK-7. This is the K-bar Becker BK-7. So what happened here was there was a knife manufacturer guy, a knife designer I should specify. His name was Ethan Becker. And he had a lot of very popular knives. And so he decided to take some of his knife ideas and team up with K-bar and have them manufacture some of his knives. Well, this one, that's where the BK came from, the B for Becker and the K for K-bar. So this was BK-7, so this was number 7 of one of his designs. So let me go ahead and open this thing up and I'll show you what this knife is. This is a beautiful knife. So we're going to unbox this baby for the first time. Look at that. That's what you have in this case. So the first thing I want to talk about is the sheath. Now the sheath is nylon. It's got a little bit of Velcro on it. It's got a little bit of a little enclosure here so you could put another smaller knife right here. I don't know what type of knife would fit in there, but so you could put another knife. And it also has a plastic insert for the knife, for this knife itself. It's got nylon. It's not like a bad sheath, but it's not the best sheath in the world either. It's got some good Velcro and nylon. It's got a little snap here, but that's the sheath itself. Got a little bit of moly on the back, and it's a pretty simple sheath. But it has 2 holes, which I thought was kind of cool because you can use those holes. Because this is a longer knife, you can use those holes to tie this thing to your leg with some paracord so you don't get this thing flapping around on you too much. So the next thing in the box is just a little bit of information about K-bar, talks about Becker, talks about the sharpening of the knife, a little bit of stuff about what they're doing. Pretty cool, just a little pamphlet kind of thing. There's a little K-bar information. That's the original K-bar. Very popular military knife. Now here is the BK-7. Now I have the BK-2, and that BK-2 is a beautiful knife. So this is the BK-7. Now this knife is a little different. There's the blade. This is a 7-inch blade. It's 1095 high carbon steel. 3/16 inch thick, full tang. It has the same exact grip that you see on the BK-2. It has the same pummel on the bottom, same lanyard hole. So everything, in my opinion, from here down, from here down, is the same as BK-2, other than the thickness. Okay, this thickness is a little thinner, but this is a nice knife. Comes out of the box. Where's my piece of wood here? Comes out of the box, ready to go. I mean, this thing is sharp. Hopefully you're seeing that. Look at that. It's just cutting away. Just beautiful. It's kind of hard holding it up the way I'm holding it, but you see the point, right? Look at that. It's just cutting away. Made some little facets in there just real quick. So this knife, I mean, you feel it, and it's sharp. 3/16. Look at the profile of the blade here. Kind of a cool little bit of a drop point there. It's got a nice profile. This blade is really sharp too. It gets thin towards the tip though. The blade does. It gets a little bit thin. But this is a nice knife because when I carry that Becker, that BK-2 around, that thing is heavy and it weighs almost a pound. So this one is significantly lighter. In fact, I want to compare the weight of this knife. This is my tops 105. Yeah, the Becker's a little heavier, probably because it's longer, but the thickness of these two is the same. Of course, this one has micarta, but these are good knives. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take and change the camera angle, and I'm going to do a little bit of work with this knife, processing some wood down. One of my biggest tests that I like to test a knife out on, not just the penetration of the knife in a piece of wood, but I'm feeling for the shock of the blade, and I don't feel a lot of shock. Now, I'll be honest, when I stick this thing in, I feel like if I was to pull backwards that it would be damaging to the blade. I just got a gut feeling. It just feels a little thin on the tip. But one of the tests that I really like is batoning. This piece of wood is about 3 inches in diameter. I just cut it. It's pine. So I'm going to go ahead and put this baby right in the middle. We're going to baton this and see how this knife holds up to batoning. Wow, so far so good. I'm kind of nervous about hitting the tip here, to be honest with you. This is green pine. So there we go. We'll right through that piece. I have a larger piece of hardwood. This is a piece of juniper. You can see that the blade, and I'm going right in the middle. That does pretty good. I'm leery on the tip though, honestly. Kind of nervous about it. But it went right through it. Which I'm impressed, honestly. Let's try it again. That was pretty good. Let's try this other half here. This knife batons through this wood really well. Okay, I have another piece here. This is another piece of hardwood, about the same diameter. Yeah, this thing does great. Goes right through this stuff. The handle's comfortable. There's no shock or anything involved. And it just goes right through that stuff. No problem. I'm going to go back to this original pine. Break that down a little more. The wet pine seems a little harder than the hardwood. A little punky at the end of it. Not too bad. Let's do this one. Not bad at all. So let's take a look at the blade real close and let's see if we got any damage to this blade. I don't see any damage at all to the edge. All the way to the tip. The blade is still in great condition. The coating is holding up good. I really like this knife. This is a good solid performer. Look down here at this work that I just did. So I have a decent little pile of firewood here. Now you're probably wondering what's the point of batoning the wood. The reason we baton wood is so that we can get to the inner portion of the wood where it's the driest. Because this piece was sitting on the ground, but once we baton and we get to the inside, that's the best wood that we can use for starting our fires. So folks, I want to say thank you for joining me today. You're probably wondering what are my thoughts on the BK-7 by Becker. Thumbs up from me. I think this is a great knife. 3/16 full tang. It's a lot lighter than the BK-2. The only concern I have is the tip here. It's a bit thin. And I got a little nervous when I was batoning because I felt like there wasn't enough meat down here on the tip. But it held up great. So the geometry of the blade holds up good. It batons great. It's sharp out of the box. Good feel in the hand. No hot spots anywhere. You know, this knife has a good feel of control. Like you could really control the blade very well. I think this is going to be a good addition to my knives. And this is one last thing about this knife. It's made in America. So you can't go wrong with that. Made in New York. The coating held up well. Just a great knife in my opinion. Once again, the Becker BK-7. So please feel free to leave your comments down below. Like this video. Share this video. And if you like the content that you see on my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you. And until next time, folks, have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.